Well, hello and welcome to Chatting with Malachy. I'm your host, Malachy Judd, and my guests today are the stars, as well as the creator, writers, and producer of the series pilot, Intertwine. So I want to thank my guests. First of all, the man with three first names, Dylan Wayne Lawrence.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Good to have you here. The lovely red-headed actress, model, singer, Ariana Serena, and the also lovely actress, Jessica Lynn Skinner. So thank you guys for being here on the program.
Yeah,
Our pleasure.
So just by way of recapping a little bit, for those of you that perhaps remember my comedy variety program, The Ron Judd Show, which Dylan and Ariana both were cast members of, we're going to take just a moment here and look at some highlights from what the three of us kind of did together during those days. So let's take a look at that right now.
Well, my boy, there's only one way to make a good first impression on a job interview.
Well, great. What is it?
Gum chewing.
What? Ron, that wasn't in the script.
Just go with it. And the only gum to chew is Ferguson's expandable chewing gum, the gum that expands as you chew it. Here, have a piece.
It's really expanding a lot. I mean, is it supposed to do this?
Of course it is. That's why it's such a great value.
Yeah, but it's getting a little too big.
Mine's getting a little too big, too.
I can't even talk anymore.
I have no idea what you're saying.
What?
What?
Ron, I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know what to do for what?
What?
Corey, are you sure this is going to work?
Yeah, Adrian, I mean, why wouldn't it work?
Because you're doing it?
Don't worry. They're trick handcuffs. They come off like this. They come off like this.
No. You did not just do this to me, did you?
Hey, don't worry. Beverly can get them off for us. We just have to go find her first, okay?
I can't believe this. Whoa.
Since you're the expert, how do I keep from getting runs in my pantyhose?
Well, it's quite simple. Don't wear pantyhose.
But what if I want to wear pantyhose?
Well, if you insist, stay away from pointy objects and you'll never get a run again.
That's it? That's the grand advice? Stay away from pointy objects or don't wear them?
Yes, I mean, I gave you the most logical conclusion to your question. And since I gave it, I know it's the right one.
You wrote a song?
Yeah?
Well, I had something I was already planning, but, you know, I guess under the circumstances, we could try this instead.
Okay, good.
So, there you have it.
Yeah, all times.
I do have to ask you,
Memory lane.
how many accordion lessons did you actually take before we shot that? I was just wondering.
You know what? None. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
very
pretty
impressive.
clear. Oh, well, thank you. You know,
It shows.
I just winged it. Yeah, I
Not
just showed I
surprising.
had no clue what I was doing, but you just said go with this, so
Yeah, we
I did.
had a fun time with that. It kind of just fell together, but
Yeah.
anyway, we are here today, of course, to talk about Intertwine, so we'll focus that direction now. Still looking backward, not as far back, but tell me how, you know, the idea first came about. What were the beginnings?
Well, for a really long time, I've been trying to think of a really good TV pilot to write, and for the longest time, I couldn't think of anything. Every time I thought it was good, it had already been done. And finally, driving home from an audition, this idea came to me, Intertwine, love, deceit, temptation, a big drama. And once I thought of that, I just started recording on my phone, oh, this could happen. And then probably 10 minutes after that, I call Ariana and I say, hey, I got this TV pilot, you want to be a part of it? Without even writing it or pretty much having anything to go off of, just an idea. I asked her if she wanted to come on board, and just from me rambling to her, she said, yeah, let's do it. So I wrote the pilot, and then long process, rewrites, and going from there.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Ariana, tell us about that from your perspective. The first,
I just remember getting this phone call, and he was so excited. He was like, "Oh my gosh, Ariana, I have this idea. I want to tell you about it. Let me know what you think." And he starts going into it. I'm like, "Okay, kind of like it." And he's like, "Yeah, and your character can be like a real biatch or something." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, tell me more." And he just had all these like intense details where everyone is like somehow connected in all these different ways. And then I just thought the idea in general sounded great. And then my character, she's the mistress to the main character, and I never played a role like that really before, so I thought this would be pretty cool. He was like, yeah, it would be a good thing for your demo reel. Like, yeah, that's awesome. So instantly I just got on board, and I'm a little bit of a control freak. I sort of took over a little bit, came on as, what am I?
She is. We go back and forth about who's head producer and who's co-producer, but
I'm co-producer. But
so after you kind of had the initial ideas put together, and you wrote the script, and you said you went through several.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The final product, the final spec pilot that we did, which is 14 pages of the full pilot, just so it's something that the networks can see, the feel of everything isn't anything like it was from the first draft. I mean, there were like 3 characters, it was just us, and then we ended up having, I think one day, like 20 cast members on set. So it completely kind of transformed, and the story developed more and more, and we got all these intricate plots that intertwine together. And yeah, it just became this whole kind of chaotic man opera, I say. It's very soap opera-ish, but there's a man as the central lead character, so I think it's a little more manly. So man opera is the term that I like to use
Instead of
for it.
soap opera.
Yeah.
At that point, is this did you first become involved with?
I first heard about the project. I worked with Dylan on another film over the summer, and that was the first time I ever met Dylan, and we kind of just hit it off on set. And he started telling me about this idea he had for a TV spec called Intertwine. And knowing Dylan, his really energetic self, he was telling me all these details, and I thought it was really neat, like when he was telling me about it. And then I go home, and about a week later I get a Facebook message from Dylan, and he was saying they're having auditions for Intertwine. And I mean, I remember when he was telling me about it, I just thought it was so neat, and so I went and I auditioned, and
she blew us away. She did amazing. She was like she was made for the part.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And her mom actually wasn't too happy about it at first.
Well, yeah, some of the pictures were a little risque, but now we've got a new image going for us.
Yeah, a little too vampiric, the first series of photos.
Yeah, totally wrong direction, but they looked awesome, so.
No, but yeah, everyone that I've talked to, my mom's really excited. Everyone's really excited about the project. It looks, I mean, like the pictures, like now, really professional.
Yeah, there's been a good hype about it. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
That's a plus, especially
Good response
since,
from the fans.
yeah, we've been putting a lot of time and energy and into it, so it's good that it's getting the recognition it deserves, because everybody worked hard.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I know there's a lot of talent right here.
Oh. Thanks.
And having had the opportunity to work with 2 of you anyway, so I'm sure that it's going to be great. So did you have some clips that you brought? Did you want to?
Yeah, actually the first clip that we can show you is me and my wife Christy right here are having an altercation in the morning. there's just a lot of tension going on that slowly is going to be revealed. Right now it's just kind of giving you little niblets to figure out what's going on. But yeah, so this clip is just us in the morning, and we kind of get into an altercation, and you're not sure why.
Let's take a look.
And action.
Oh, Trevor. I was just playing.
I don't have time for your games, Christy.
Game. Trevor, you're my husband. Aren't I allowed to have a little fun?
Don't you have to paint your nails or something? Cut.
All right.
Wow, I'm a jerk.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a real jerk, but you're not so innocent yourself.
Hey, I put on a good front.
Yeah, definitely does.
Well, let's talk about actually starting into production. So we kind of got as far as the auditions, and just tell us a little bit, any of you, please chime in about as kind of the production began.
Okay, well, we actually went through numerous production companies until we finally decided that sometimes the best way for you to get done what you want is for you to do it yourself. So Intertwine Productions was born in 2012 in August, and that's kind of been my little baby. But yeah, we went through multiple production companies, and it just wasn't a right fit from the get-go. We all had different views of where we wanted things to go. And so finally getting our own production company, we then had to find, a director and find all of those members that make a set become a set. And we went through multiple interviews, actually from the box. Director Kristen Kimball, we initially offered her the role, but she thought that her style wasn't exactly the sultry, dramatic darkness that Intertwine was. So she recommended us to Scott Ballard, who is the director and also the editor of the spec pilot. And yeah, it was just pretty much finding everybody, getting them brought on board, having the meetings, going over the shot list, location scouting, kind of all of those aspects that bring things together. And funny enough, it was like 2 days before filming, and we still needed our manor location, the big mansion that Christy's wealthy parents own. And I was talking to Ariane on the phone, and I was so frustrated because everything we had been calling didn't go through. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna drive to the rich neighborhood and I'm gonna knock on doors. So I pretty much drove past this beautiful home, and I just walked up to their doorsteps and I knocked on the door and said, hi, I'm with Intertwine Productions, I wanna film here. And she invited me in, I looked at her house, and the next thing you know, she agreed to let us film at her house for, I think it was like 21 hours. We were there for almost a full 24 hours, actually.
Wow.
Long day.
But yeah, it was kind of crazy just to walk in there, and it was a blessing, to say the least.
Yeah.
So kind of insane sometimes. You just gotta take a risk, be a creeper. But
Awesome. Yeah, it was a beautiful location. We got really lucky with it. So.
All of our locations actually just they work really well with the view that we had for the script. So everything turned out really nice. Everything fit together.
yeah, same with our home location
Oh,
for
yeah.
the couple. I did
Very
the same
nice.
thing. I just walked up to the house and I knocked on the door and said, hey, I want to film here. And she invited me in, instantly gave me her phone number, offered me coffee. I'm very happy that people were so nice and generous, but at the same time, I could be a serial killer, you know, and you're just letting me come in your home, take photos, but it worked. I mean, luckily we were established and had a fan page and, a website, and, we're registered with Oregon for a business. So, they could at least check us out and know we're not lying about anything. So.
I think the hardest part we had with locations was the hotel. No one would get back to us. We contacted everybody. We had everything. We probably had maybe 6 to 10 hotels contacted, and none of them would get back to us. And then finally, the one that did, we had so many problems after filming. So,
Oh yeah, it was not a fun thing to handle after, I think it ended up being 12 hours of filming, going off 1 hour of sleep, and to have to deal with an altercation about payment and things not going through, and this got broke, and it was just,
yeah.
it was a crappy way to end a really good experience, because we filmed the 14 pages in 3 days, filming from anywhere from 12 hours to 21 hours. So it was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and because me and Ariana are producing it, we always had to be there first, and we always had to be there last.
Yeah.
So we
Got the least amount of sleep of everybody and did close to the most, if not the most. There were other people who did a lot of work with us. But,
Yeah. And speaking of all that work, the last day of filming, her and I had a romantic scene together. But because I had just worked that 24 hours straight, didn't hardly get any sleep, I was puking all morning and had to go to set in the makeup chair and get ready, and then had to have that romantic scene with her. And that's actually one of the clips that we brought
Okay.
for us to see. Her and I'm coming to confront her and tell her.
The scene, right? Not your.
Yeah, not the puking. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if people
Just
want
wanted
to
to
see
check
that,
that.
I'm sure we could pull something up.
No,
That sounds good.
I
Let's take a look at it.
Dude,
Camera.
camera speed.
Scene 7A, take 2.
And action.
So, why did you come?
To tell you we're through.
Is that really how you feel?
Yes.
Okay. Let me give you a parting.
And cut. Great. Cut. Let's go one more time. I love it. I want a safety of that.
Isn't that thing?
Oh, except that felt right on the note.
I'm supposed to.
You
Oh, yeah.
are.
Oh, yeah.
Up and to camera right on. There we go.
Okay. Quiet on set.
Osby. Quiet on set.
Camera.
Camera speed.
Scene 7A, take 3.
And action.
So, why did you come?
To tell you we're through.
Is that really how you feel?
Yes.
Okay.
And cut. Great cut. All right, moving on. Freedom. Good, good. Freedom. Let's do it.
Yeah, can we Freedom? You didn't see the monitor?
I did.
You did? What were you saying?
My pen.
Just for that one line or 2 lines at first. All right. Got
Strike
5.
that light.
Okay.
Just snap that light off.
Really nice?
Pretty risque.
Yeah. Yeah, I love about all the behind the scenes footage that we brought for you. And that you get to see how everything went and how, people are laughing between takes when it's not really that funny at all. And the things we're doing are pretty serious or pretty scary. Or
It's actually kind of funny because, if you look at some of the behind the scenes, Dylan, he stays in character and he stays focused most of the time, so he always looks like he's this really grumpy actor. Because you look at him and he's just...
Yeah, I look like
But he's
an
really
a-hole.
just in character the whole time. We had a scene, a really intense scene, and Dylan was just the whole time. It took a few hours to get all the takes and stuff, so it was a good 2 hours, and Dylan was just in the corner, just hyperventilating, like stressing himself out. But it comes across good on screen. Dylan's a good actor.
Yeah, thanks you guys. Yeah, we all have very unique acting styles. I know me and Ariana are very method, so we like to really get in that mold and see how things go. And Jessica, you like to...
Yeah, I'm it's called Meisner acting. I'm more of a Meisner technique. It's more about responding off of the other person. So we all have different styles, but it all works together. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it came together.
Yeah.
Very cohesive and
Yeah.
came out very well.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, so we did get to see the two of you in that last clip. Ariana, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character from your perspective?
So, as I said before, I play the mistress. Of course, redhead, right? Sorry, that's a True Blood attribute there. Anyways, so my character plays the vixen, but she's also kind of very headstrong, kind of a biatch, and part of it is that she's had like a really abusive past, and so she's gone on this journey going through all these situations where people mistreat her and misuse her, and she stumbles across Trevor, which is the character Dylan plays, and they sort of find unity in their pain together because he's had difficulties in his situation, and they somehow find strength and create this emotional bond between each other. So they do genuinely care, but there's the situation where he's married to this other woman, and my character knows about it, and of course she doesn't like it, and he doesn't like the whole thing. So yeah, it's a there's a lot of depth to our characters. We've spent a lot of hours just digging into the background and the building blocks of who we are as of the current time point. So you know, it's a really deep story, I think. It kind of, there's more to it, you know. There's a lot more goodies to follow. So
yeah, lots of layers that underline. So you may think it's very typical and very cliche from the surface, but once you start, you know, removing those layers, you realize, whoa, there's a lot more to this than I expected, which is a really cool and interesting thing about the whole Intertwine concept.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So tell us, give us a perspective on, you know, once kind of production is wrapped up and then you're
okay,
putting this out there. So.
Yeah, so now that the whole spec's together, typically from what I've learned, when you pitch a series, you really only need the full pilot. But we've kind of gone that extra mile and filmed the spec pilot so they can see, you know, what the show's going to look and what it's going to feel like. Mm-hmm. And then we also have promotional material, the posters, the fan page, the website, showing them that, you know, we're determined this is going to happen. We have a following already. People want to see this happen. So we're trying just to make sure when we go in to pitch it down in California that we're as prepared as possible. And we prove to them we're not messing around.
Yeah.
So
yeah, essentially it's the pitch. We know how to communicate. This is how we'll make you money. You help us make this, we'll help make you money. So sad that money makes the world go round, but in the film industry, just a little bit.
Well, good deal. So, and I believe I was reading an article.
Oh yeah, from the Confluence.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, our assistant director, Lindsay Freeland, she actually was the one who was interviewed for that. But it was just talking about the project when we first started, way back in, I don't even know when we started.
June.
Back in June, she got interviewed for it, just talking about the project and the concept, you know, what people could expect, and how it's a very homegrown project because we only used local talent, local crew. We filmed all locations here. Right. We're really striving to have the project film here, but unfortunately, once a network looks at it and decides whether they want to greenlight it or not, that's kind of out of our control. Yeah. We can only hope for the best and hope that everybody who participated can be on board, but it's not up to us. It's up to a higher power, the big heads of the networks.
I guess we kind of touched on your married relationship on the show, but I did ask Ariana about her character from her perspective. So why don't we have
us talk about our characters?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Christy Jennings, she's kind of the character that you love to hate, because from a first glance, Christy's that snotty, snobby rich girl that's not the nicest to everyone. But then I think something that's really interesting about all the characters is there's a lot of layers to them. And so once you start unraveling all of them, you realize maybe Christy's not so bad of a person as she appears. You see that there's a reason, and kind of similar to Ariana's character, there's that pain that's feeling why she acts that way, and then in regards to our romantic marriage relationship, you kind of get the sense that a long time ago maybe they were in love and they loved each other, but then now it's not so great, and then you'll find out what that single event was that caused that change in their relationship. So she's one of those characters where you have to unravel to find why you like her. but you will find it. You just have to look.
Yeah, you have to look really hard sometimes, and that's the same with all of the characters.
Yeah.
It's all that kind of love-hate relationship. I know what I love about a lot of TV is there's always that one character that you love to hate, and you wish you could say the things they do. Well, all of the characters are like that. We're all kind of evil, but have these redeeming qualities. I know for Trevor, he just comes across like an a-hole. He is very, I'm not sure if I could say that. He comes across very mean, jerkish, let's put it that way. And you really wonder, why are these women after him? Like, why do they love him so much or care about him? He's terrible. He doesn't treat them right. But as all the other characters, he has a soft side. He's just very guarded. There's been a lot that happened, and a lot that happened within their marriage that kind of ruined their relationship is kind of the weight that's carrying on his shoulder that's making him act the way he is. And so it's kind of figuring out what that event is that's made these characters come to the point that they are in their lives.
Yeah. We've developed a pretty big fan base. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Intertwine series. And then we also have a website that you can check out, and it's intertwineseries.com.
Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming on the program. It's been really great to have you all. Great to see Dylan, you and Ariana again. Great to meet Jessica. So again, it's been great. Thanks for coming on
thank
and
you so
talking
much.
about the
Thank you.
program.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Thank you so much.
And I'm Malachy Judd. I want to thank you for tuning in to Chatting with Malachy, and I'll see you next month, same time. Bye for now.